Hey guys, it's Jared with X-Trek Adventure. Today we're going to be going over the hidden costs of ownership when buying a used GX470. So if you're new to the channel and you don't know, this is a 2007 GX470 with 210,000 miles on the clock. The timing belt when I bought it was done at 120,000 miles, so it was due again. I went ahead and had that serviced. To do the service for the timing belt, the water pump, oil change, spark plugs, and have diffs in the transfer case all serviced was $2,400. So I've also done the transmission fluid swap, and it's just a simple pump in, pump out. So Crutchfield Clan has a great video on how to do this, and I will leave a link to his video down in the description. It's pretty much dropping the pan, replacing the filter, and then you go to the front of the vehicle, and right back in here there's a radiator for the transmission, and it'll pump the fluid out, and then you can just pump it back in with a simple quart container pump. The parts and everything that I had to get for the transmission fluid swap was around $201, and that includes the crush gasket, the filter, the new gasket for the pan, and the fluid, which was the most expensive part, which is around $110. This is something most people don't think about if they're wanting to do all their own wrenching on their vehicle. You have to have the tools, a jack stands, all that business. So if you go to Harbor Freight, you can get a decent 3-ton jack. It'll cost probably close to $150, and it'll be good. But then you got to have some 6-ton jack stands, and that's around $80 as well. A good mechanic's tool set that's going to have all the metric sizes that you need. It won't even have all the metric sizes that you need, because you're going to have a very special large size for axle, CV axle nuts on the front of the vehicle. It's like 26, 27 millimeter. So that's like $30 by itself if you buy it. But you're going to have to get a mechanic set, and it's going to be probably around $150 to get a good set. You're going to need torque wrenches. I've already had torque wrenches. Torque wrenches aren't cheap. Pickle forks, if you're going to do a lift or ball joints or tie rod ends, you're going to have to get a pickle fork set. It's like $25. So it's just something to keep in mind. Let's go ahead and talk about the most noticeable thing on this vehicle. It's going to be these mud terrain tires, Cooper Evolutions. They're 31 inches, and then these rims are Tacoma takeoffs. They're Tacoma Sport 17 by 7.5 inches. I paid $900 for the tires, all said and done, and they were stupidly, I mounted them to the old Lexus rims thinking that I could paint them and make them look better, but they were just too far gone. So then I paid an extra $400 for these Tacoma takeoff rims. My 5th spare wheel is still back in the OEM spot, but it's still on a Lexus rim. Small items, fender liner. Back and behind the front tires, it's an engine cover. It's just plastic. It eventually rots out, dries out, cracks, falls apart. It's gone. $25. Tie rod ends. You have to have a set, even if they're good. If you're going to go wheeling, keep tie rods on your car. Sway bar links. These aren't nearly as prone to breaking as a tie rod end, but you know, they do wear out. My boots are cracked on mine. They're done for. They got to be replaced anyways. It's not something you got to keep when you're wheeling. Just know that they do go bad, boots bust, and then they'll start making noise. I've replaced the brakes on this vehicle myself. It was $315 for some power stops, drilled and slotted rotors, ceramic pads. I had to do it. The car had terrible wobble. It had rotor shudder every time it would come to a stop. The ditch light brackets are Ragofab, $85 for the ditch light brackets. Ditch lights, Auto Time. Just some cheap yellow ditch lights. I'm not big on paying big money for the diode dynamics or the Baja lights or whatever they are. LEDs are LEDs, and if they're going to get busted, I'd rather be a cheap set than a nice set. I purchased a Bluetooth OBDM port adapter. It's an ELM327, and it helps me monitor like what the transmission's doing, what my coolant temperature is looking like. Just, you know, I can view trouble codes if I ever get any. It's just a nice thing to have. It's only 15 bucks. LED fog lights made by Oxlight, $19. LED low beams made by BeamTech, $27. All-weather floor mats, 70 bucks. You gotta get them. You should see, I've only owned this vehicle like a month and they're already trashed. Rear diff breather relocation. All the parts, including the hose, the adapters, the brass nipples and couplings, 50 bucks. Interior LED kit, huge quality of life improvement. They're way brighter, they use way less power, $13. So look at this vehicle. Does it have a lift on it? No, it does not. Not yet, but it's been purchased. I'm still waiting on upper control arms. Everybody was back ordered. The GX 470 platform is the same platform as the 4Runner and the FJ Cruiser. So therefore, all those parts are shared between all those vehicles, and overlanding and just off-roading in general has become so popular recently that it's just really hard for manufacturers to keep up with all the aftermarket parts, especially on the cheaper end. The price of a lift kit for a vehicle like this. On the cheaper end of the upper control arm spectrum is the Freedom Off-Road, $380. The Ironman 4x4 Nitro Gas lift kit, 2.5 inches in the back, 3 inches in the front, $1,025. My bushings and my ball joints are totally trashed on this vehicle. It wanders all over the road, can't keep a straight line. It feels like a boat whenever it's rolling around on the highway. So therefore I'm replacing the stock lower control arms, $180. And then there's an airbag kit for the back. The airbags have to be deleted. The airbag delete kit, which is upper spring isolators, lower spring isolators, and spring pucks, is $150 from Metal Tech. Now for the lift kit, that doesn't even include installation or alignment. I'm not decided yet if I'm going to do the install myself. I could do half. I could do the rears myself and then have a shop do the front, since the front's way more involved. Or I could just have them do all of it, or I could do all of it. So at the end of the day, how much did a $11,500 vehicle cost me? The total at this point in time is $18,694. If we were to exclude the vehicle cost, we would be right at $7,100 in just the price of stuff that has been done or bought or replaced or repaired. We have some interesting side notes here. Gas mileage, 15 miles to the gallon. And now I see, as soon as I buy this car, gas prices start jacking up towards $3 a gallon. Wonderful. Also, insurance. Used car like this, it's been paid off. You know, there's no bank in this equation at all. $40 a month for insurance. Don't cheap out if you buy a used vehicle. That's just good practice. Don't cheap out, because if you do get in an accident and somebody's seriously hurt, you will get screwed in the end. Have enough insurance to cover all the damages and all the medical bills. It just makes sense. I hope this video has been informative and just giving everyone a glimpse as to what it's like to buy a 14 or 15-year-old vehicle that has been technically not driven hard. It's had a real easy life. It might have towed here and there, but there's no signs that it was ever driven off-road ever. The body is completely rust-free. There is no dents or dings on the undercarriage. It looks brand new, like it just rolled off the line.